Who are you and what team are you part of?
I am Dean Trible. I am CEO of Agoric.
And what is Agoric?
Agoric is a Cosmos-based blockchain, so built on battle-tested Tendermint, for doing smart contracts in hardened JavaScript. This is how you get millions of developers to be able to build smart contracts and be able to bring the next wave of decentralized and cross-chain DeFi.
Helping adoption, and what is your objective this week at Cosmoverse?
So I wanted to share how close we are to launching the first version of JavaScript smart contracts. And on top of that, the first version of our Inter-stable token that is designed to be a stable token to work for the Interchain. So Inter-stable token is built in our smart contract framework. One of the main virtues of the smart contract framework is much safer composition of components, and what that brings to Inter-stable token is we will be able to safely evolve it over time, right? The last word in stable tokens has not been spoken, and there are going to be new additional mechanisms over time. Our goal is we fit in the category of fully collateralized or over-collateralized stable tokens. So there's, dollar backed in an account, there's bad algorithmic, there may be good algorithmic, but then there's really the fully collateralized, and that's what we are. So there will be multiple mechanisms, and more mechanisms might be added by the community over time. Again, with my goal is it's about being robust and solvent over time across a broad range of interchain uses and chains. So the first mechanism that we're rolling out with is backed by the dollar-backed stablecoins, backed by USDC over Axelar, USDC over Gravity, native USDC if that happens, DAI over these bridges, USDT, etc. The stable tokens you can think of as sort of high quality, strong parity with the dollar because they've got some strong mechanic that ties them to that. So initially, what it let us do is consolidate the wide variety of these, dollar stable tokens. If you go to one of the trading applications, I think for Solana, and you say look for USDC, there are 20 USDCs from 20 different sources. No one that isn't deep currency trader ever wants to see that, right? So IST, what it'll do for the Cosmos is be able to consolidate all of those, consolidate the bridge risk, provide mitigations in the appropriate places, bound the amount of risk it'll take versus one bridge or one currency, all those kinds of things, and come up with IST that the users don't have to care about that. It's already been solved elsewhere, and they might pay for the privilege, but it vastly simplifies commerce, right? The goal of a stable token is to grease the wheels of commerce. In this case, it's greasing the wheels of interchain commerce. And so that's the first mechanism, is consolidate those stable tokens, and it gives us a nice, narrow, high assurance, easy to verify, easy to explain and for people to understand mechanism for, okay, you can take up to 1 million of that bridged USDC and 2 million of that bridged, USDT or whatever it is. But from the point of view of your osmosis pool, it's just IST, it doesn't matter. Okay, so then the longer term mechanism that is expected to be much larger from a footprint point of view is the MakerDAO CDP style vault, right? Where I can take Atom, or I can take a staking derivative for Atom, whatever it is that the community decides is the asset tokens that they will use as collateral, lock them up in a vault, and then mint IST against that. So I get $200 worth of Atom and mint $100 worth of IST, right? There's a limit as to how high you can go. The analogy I use for people that are familiar with real estate is it's like taking a loan against your house, only you don't have to move out if there's a foreclosure, right? If the market goes down, either you can top it up by adding more Atom, hard to add more house, right? Or you can let it liquidate, and then the Atom will be sold before the loan is underwater. The sold Atom, pay off the loan, you're all square, right? And so that mechanism has performed fabulously in market downturns, right? It's not, there are, shall we say, bad mechanisms that are responsible for some of these market downturns. That mechanism in MakerDAO and Celo and others, it has been robust, and the robustness is about how strong is the liquidation market. So how easy is it to liquidate the collateral? Nice thing about the Cosmos ecosystem, and about Atom in particular, is it is the strong on-ramp, off-ramp. It has lots of places to sell. It is very liquid, and so as a collateral, it's pretty much ideal, right? And so those are some of the key the key minting mechanisms, and really the core ones for the multi-stage rollout we're right now in the midst of. There's a few others that the community will decide, some based on build. Eventually, we know people are working towards delta neutral stablecoins, as it's called, that relies on a rich, deep options market. At the point where there is a rich, deep options market, that will be straightforward to add, vote on, what have you. And maybe that'll be the right thing. The reason to want these additional mechanisms is you want solvency, you want strength, but you also want to unlock the value in whether it's, options market or NFTs, right? There's people working on NFT lending, right? And so finding ways to add those new, more efficient, better, reduced capital requirements mechanisms while keeping a solvent, strong currency, so we become, sort of the primary stable token of the Cosmos ecosystem and of the interchain generally, because that extends past Cosmos into, there are bridges into Near, there are IBC connections into Near, there are IBC connections into Polkadot, and and everything we build here in the interchain will extend out to those as well. So those are some of the key mechanisms. But as I said, we'll start clear, we'll start simple, we'll start narrow, and we'll start rolling it out.
And when can we expect a rollout for IST?
Right. So launch is in progress. This is launch of the Agoric platform, and on top of that, there's a release of IST. IST is already, extends beyond Agoric. So there's an economic committee that was elected that is, central banking experts, economists, people who have launched monetary protocols before, people who have worked in TradFi, to be able to figure out, do risk analysis on new currencies and collateral. So that's already up and operational. But the software stack that includes it, that is now we've got a release candidate now going through testing. If it doesn't find anything, and the security folks, the testing folks, if they find something, they get to stop ship, right? So things, but the clock right now is counting down towards late October with the get through testing, do a rehearsal of deployment, go through the voting about what currencies or what tokens to rely on as collateral, those kinds of things, out to launch in October. So.
Pretty cool. And what are you most excited about for Cosmos this year?
Well, I was pretty impressed with the Atom 2.0 stuff. I'm excited about that. But really, I got to say, it's hard for anything to top launching Agoric, right? I mean, that's I'm just really excited about, and I'm excited about how much people are interested, right? There's a lot of the people here that are validators on the chain. A lot of them bought tokens. A lot of them are really excited about getting IST, the stable token, available on other chains so that there is a Cosmos native, interchain native stable token, and that level of support is just awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember when I first got into contact with Agoric, the JavaScript smart contract. I'm a JavaScript developer, so got me interested at first. And I'm curious, if you had to name one project that you think is not getting the attention it deserves, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. The two that leap to mind that are especially unusual and interesting are like Celestia and Anoma. But I think they may be getting good attention, but they are certainly, interesting and unusual. There's so many interesting projects, it's sort of hard to tell.
Hard to find one. And how can people find you, and how can people help you? So maybe give your socials, and how can people help contribute to your project?
So getting onto the Agoric socials is probably the best thing. I'll start tweeting more, I promise, one of these days, right? So this week, right, we're in the process of launching, so our validators had better line up and be ready to vote, be ready to evaluate builds, be ready to give the feedback, get it all working and launch. Developers, if they're here, they should go to the workshops. A lot of those will be streamed, and those workshops are interesting because they're being built by people who build stuff on Agoric, not by us, but JavaScript developers that have built applications and now they're building something new using Agoric. And then all the other zones out there, interstable token is coming, and it's something that it's really designed and optimized to be, robust, solvent, workable for the interchain. Our platform is interchain native, and so our goal is to have something that really does help everyone, all these other zones, launch and not have to deal with stable tokens, and yet still eventually be able to leverage the asset value of their tokens on their chain. So those are sort of the three categories of people that should be responding to where we're at right now.
And how can they find you?
At certainly agoric.com or at Agoric on Twitter. There's a lot of things come out of there, and I'm at Dean Trible at Twitter. So
Cool. It was nice meeting you. Have a blast this week at Medellin Cosmoverse.
thank you, and it's been great to be here, and thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.